Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're doing another sit down chatty vid where I talk to you all about romanticising school and how you can actually enjoy this academic year. If you're new to my channel or you just didn't know, I finished year 13 a few months ago and I'm about to start my first year of university. I've picked up so many tips and pieces of advice along the way of how to actually somewhat enjoy it. I personally really enjoyed the first term of year 13, and I do think that was due to me romanticising it so much. So this is everything that I did kind of last autumn to romanticise school. As per usual, I have a coffee. This one is a cinnamon iced latte. It's really good, so definitely get yourself a drink or a snack to chill and watch this video with. Okay, so first things first, we're going to be talking about appearance. And now I don't mean you have to go and like completely change your appearance, but I definitely found that putting effort into my appearance was something that really helped me to romanticise school. I obviously the last 2 years have been at sixth form / college, so I have been able to pick and choose what I wear and my own outfits. So I found this such a fun part of college. So if you are starting year 12 or 13, that is definitely something you can look forward to. I absolutely loved scrolling on Pinterest and finding all of these cute autumn outfits and then trying to recreate them, or recreate outfits that I'd seen people on TikTok wear, or people on Instagram wear, and channeling that energy, but it can make you feel so put together and like the main character. If you are still just in secondary school, then this is something that you may have to work around because you have a uniform. You can elevate your uniform in many different ways. For example, you could have cute badges on your blazer, or you can add some jewellery, so you might be allowed to have like a ring or a bracelet on, and you could definitely add those signature pieces. But you could even try switching something up. So let's say like you wear a skirt and you've worn a skirt like your whole school life, maybe switch it up and wear trousers a few times just to make it that little bit more interesting and not so mundane. Obviously, also with appearance is hair and makeup, and there are some other things I used to really enjoy putting effort into. So for my hair, I actually used to write out like a hair schedule. So I'd write down all the days I was washing my hair, and then I'd be able to decide what styles I was going to do to align with that. Days where I'd have my hair down, some days I would plait it, some days I would slick it back, some days I would curl it, straighten it, etc. Switching up constantly is such a good way to romanticize it because it makes it just that little bit different. Again, it just makes it more exciting. And then with makeup, again, this might be more difficult if you're just in secondary school, because I know that some schools definitely do have policies on how much makeup you can wear. But if you are able to wear maybe a little bit of concealer or mascara or a little bit of blush, gives you something exciting to do in the morning, doing your makeup every day. I absolutely adore sitting at my desk and doing my makeup. Obviously, at college, we were allowed to wear whatever makeup we wanted. So I definitely had like my favourite products I would use, but then sometimes I would switch it up and follow a tutorial, or like follow somebody else's makeup routine and switch it up a little bit and use some new products. All of these things, hair, makeup, appearance, anything like that, is going to make you feel so put together, and it's going to channel that main character energy, which is what romanticizing is all about. Okay, so now we're moving on to studying and how you can actually romanticize studying. For those of you who have been watching my YouTube, or specifically my TikTok, the past kind of year or so, you'll notice how much I romanticize studying, and to the point where I can actually enjoy it sometimes. Yes, it's a very boring task and it's not exactly what you want to be doing, but I think I romanticized it to the point where I actually enjoyed sitting down and starting doing some work, and it gave me a really big sense of achievement once I'd finished a task. And I definitely think that comes quite naturally to me. However, there's a lot of ways I would romanticize it to push myself if I was feeling that lack of motivation. The first thing that I did to romanticize studying is making my study setup. So I have my desk over here, and I basically made sure that my desk was clean and there was lots of space free every time I sat down, because if it was cluttered, it would just send me into a spiral, and that's not exactly a fun working environment. I would try and have a candle or a wax melt burning, or like something that was smelling nice and giving that warm kind of ambience. I think that's the word. I would also recommend getting yourself a fun drink and a snack. I always had snacks and little drinks, whether it was like a coffee or a drink of water or a cup of tea. I always had at least one, sometimes 2 or 3 different drinks on the go. You should drink so much more water as well if you just have like a nice bottle or cup while you're studying. The other things that I used to do to romanticize my studying was I would switch up my music all the time. Across year 13, I listened to so many different types of music or noise whilst I was studying, and I'm going to tell you my favourites. I would say definitely when I needed that boost of motivation, I needed like a hype girl like It Girl Energy playlist. If you literally just type that into Spotify, loads of people have already made them and they'll come up. They were just kind of almost like workout music, but I found that gave me that push of motivation to get me into it. I also loved listening to sad music when I was studying, especially in an evening. Even if I wasn't sad, I just found them really relaxing songs to listen to, and it definitely just got me in the zone. I also made a playlist, I think it's called Yes You Can. Just gave me that little burst of motivation, but not necessarily like a hype girl playlist. There was a lot of Sia on there. There was some of Taylor Swift's really like powerful songs, if you know what I mean. It was a really niche playlist, but it definitely always helped me when I was feeling like, oh my god, I can't do this. It would be like, yes you can, put that playlist on, get out of your head and start working. I also absolutely love like an autumn playlist with like Evermore by Taylor Swift, and like I recommend having like a really big variety of playlists and just listening to different ones depending on what mood you're in. Something else that I think is so cute, and you guys probably expect me to say this, is to go and study in a coffee shop or library. I think switching it where you study is so important, and it's not something I ever did before like year 12, year 13, but I think no matter what year you're going into, if you've got some homework that you don't want to do, go and sit in a coffee shop, get a sweet treat, get a coffee or like whatever drink that you like, and go and do your work in there. You could even bring a friend with you, which I think is so nice, and it just gives you a bit of a change of scenery. You can also utilise social media to romanticise studying, and what I mean by this is going on Pinterest. You could literally just look up study inspo, and the most aesthetic study related photos will come up, and I kid you not, it just gives me a burst of motivation every time, and I'm like, yes, I want to be that, I want to do that now, and it should get me out of bed to go and work, because I was like, I want to channel that energy. I also think that TikTok and Study Talk can be a really good place to find motivation to study, and even filming your own TikToks. Obviously I film TikToks about my studying for the entirety of year 12 and 13 and most of year 11, and honestly, it helped me romanticize it so much, because it was like I was creating my own little movies, and my life and my social media pages, it was like giving me that main character vibe. So even if you have a private account or you don't post it anywhere, I would highly recommend making little vlogs or day in the lives of you studying. Before we move on to the last section, which is on your mindset, I'm just going to go through a couple other things that led to me feeling like the main character last year. Something that I think really makes you a main character is having a certain aesthetic or signature pieces, signature everything. Because when you think about your favourite main character in your favourite film or TV show, you can almost think of like a mental Pinterest board that would represent them in your head, and all of the aesthetic and like their likes and dislikes, and you really know who they are. And you need to do this with yourself. I think a massive thing is that certain aesthetic and likes and dislikes that everybody kind of knows you by. And I really enjoy this aspect of like creating your dream self almost. So I definitely have like my signature jewellery, exact same rings. I also think having a signature scent is so fun, and every time people smell that, they'll be reminded of you. And these are just little things that you can do to romanticize yourself and make yourself feel like the main character. Something that was really like typical of me was making pretty notes and obviously making my TikToks and stuff. And I think when people think of me, they probably think of those types of things. So just kind of think to yourself, as a student, what do you want people to be reminded of you with? Yeah, I feel like I kind of rambled on that one. We're going to lead into mindset. I feel like a lot of what I just said does link to your mindset as well, but there's a few like key points I wanted to make. In terms of mindset, I think a massive thing that you can do in order to prepare for back to school or like get yourself through those first few months is to set goals. This sounds so stupid and so self-explanatory, but I think setting goals helped me massively last year. I had really clear visions of what I wanted to achieve. So then when I was lacking motivation, or I didn't really know what to do with myself, or I didn't know how to study, I would literally just revert to those goals and think, okay, what is it that you want this year's outcome to be? And that a lot of people don't really know what to write, or you don't know how to actually set the goals. So I would really recommend writing your goals in categories. So I always do academic, mental and well-being. I think that's what I always do. So academic goals could be like grades you want to achieve, whether you want to get your like homework done by the end of each week, you want to keep on top of making your revision resources, you want to ask for help more, like could be anything in terms of actual school. Do some well-being goals, so things like drinking enough water, getting enough sleep, reading more, like those kind of things. And then I also have mental goals, which are goals of how I want to feel. So I want to feel more confident in this subject. I want to feel less anxious about raising my hand in class. And then you have almost the physical goals and things you actually want to achieve, but you also have ways you want to feel. And I think this is actually so helpful, and if not more important than those physical goals, because all those mental goals might have something to do with confidence or just making you a better version of yourself. And I think every time you feel like stressed out or anxious or anything like that, you can think about those goals that you have in mind, and it really does help to push yourself that little bit more. And all of this will romanticize school for you and make it more enjoyable, because you are constantly bettering yourself as a person and as a student. The next thing is flipping your mindset. You have to go into this school year with a positive mindset. The biggest thing for me was that after year 11, which don't get me wrong was a very, very difficult year because year 11 is stressful. However, I actually really enjoyed it because I loved my school. Like I loved my teachers, my friends. Like I really, really enjoyed my school. So I was very anxious to go into year 12, and I would just hear people say all the time, year 12, like year A levels are the worst time of your life. You're going to hate it. You're going to miss school so much. And so I went into year 12 with quite a negative mindset, thinking, oh my god, like I'm gonna hate this, it's gonna be awful. So every time anything stressful would happen, I'd be like, right, that's it, like this is what everyone was talking about, it's bad, it's awful. Whereas when I went into year 13, despite everyone saying the kind of exact same thing, year 13 is going to be the worst year of your life, I went into it with a much more positive mindset. I was like, I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm not going to let that get to me, because in year 12 it did absolutely nothing for my mental health except make it worse. So in year 13 I really flipped that round and I went in with a positive mindset, and that is honestly, I think, a reason why I enjoyed the first term so much. So no matter what kind of grief people are giving you about, especially like year 11, year 12, year 13, don't listen to it. Literally just block it all out. But if you go in with the focus on those difficult things rather than things that you can enjoy, you're probably not going to enjoy it very much at all. You're probably going to hate it. And what's the point in that? I've never even stepped foot in this school year yet. So you don't know that it's going to be the worst year of your life. Just because it was the worst year of somebody's life doesn't mean it'll be the same for you. Something else that I wanted to speak about was actually romanticizing your lessons, because I think lessons can be the most tiresome, boring thing in the world. So the first thing is to arrive on time / arrive early. Even if you arrive 5 minutes early, I don't care. Go in, you can get your seat, it's nice and quiet, it's so chill. Like I just love arriving to lessons early. I felt like it took away all the stress of the busy corridors and like the possibility of being late. It just removes all that stress and it makes it so much more enjoyable to actually sit down and just like collect yourself before anything even starts. I sometimes took in a book and I'll just read a few pages of my book before the lesson start, which I found so peaceful. I did that a lot at the beginning of year 13. I don't know why I stopped doing it. Don't care what people say. If people call you like a nerd or I don't know, teacher's pet, whatever. I mean, I didn't really get that in college, but I would have definitely got that in school. Don't listen to what people say, because chances are they're literally just jealous of you. And I know that that's such a difficult thing to accept, but also they probably just don't understand it either. And the chances are you're going to be enjoying your lessons and school so much more than them. And who actually gives one if you're happy? Like if you're happy, why does it matter what anybody thinks about what you're doing? Like it just doesn't. You might think, oh my god, this is so embarrassing, I'm going to stop. But if you just keep at it, you're going to enjoy school so much more. Okay, I would also recommend making sure you have lots of cute stationery or things that you're going to use in that lesson to take notes. So I would take in all my like favourite mild liners and pens and things, or I'd have my laptop and I'd have like all like cute lettering on my laptop. The next thing is to actually listen. Like as much as it's nice to have a lesson where you just kind of gossip, and there were definitely a lot of lessons where I was just in pieces with my friends laughing and stuff at stupid things, and it is okay to have those lessons here and there, but if you are genuinely wanting to do well in that subject and you know you want to romanticize it, literally just listen, be so present, stop letting your mind wander. Even if the teacher is boring you to death, just listen, make your notes, you know, absorb what the teacher's saying and listen. And you know, when they're actually going around, they're giving you tasks to do and you understand it because you've been listening, oh my god, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. Talking to the people around you, even if they are people that you don't really get on with or you wouldn't see outside of lessons, even if you just just compliment them or say good morning or just say hi. Like, you might be able to work together on things. Be really open to working with other people. Like, when the teacher tells you you have to work in pairs or work in groups, I used to be someone that was just like, oh my god, this is so awkward, this is so embarrassing. But it's really not. Like, if you just put yourself out there and be that little bit more confident and actually talk to the person around you, it can make the lesson so much more enjoyable, and you'll probably really help them as well, because they were probably thinking, oh my god, like, I don't want to be the first to speak. It may even lead you to making a new friend. Like, I know it's easier said than done, and I know in some circumstances it's not really possible if the person you sit with really is not your cup of tea, but even just saying good morning or just saying hi, like, showing that you're a nice person and that you want to be there, it changes the mood so much. I think that is everything I wanted to speak about in this video. I can't just let my mind run. I feel like I need a podcast, guys. I keep doing these chatty videos and I'm obsessed with them. But let me know any other videos of this style that you would like to see, and I hope that this was really helpful. I think my biggest takeaway from this is just to do what makes you happy. Like, if you are romanticizing it and you are channeling that main character vibe and you are happy, it does not matter what anybody else thinks. And like I said earlier, chances are they are just jealous and they are probably having a worse time at school than you are, because they are not going to be as happy as you are. Love you all, and I will see you next time.